Okay.
Okay, so start with the dream. All right, just go ahead.
All right, here we go. This is the prologue, epilogue. So, okay, just check us out. All right, remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about how the gods had the sun, and how I was talking about how
demigods,
Hercules and Jesus were the same. And you said I thought you were going to go into something completely a whole lot more deep, and I didn't. Well, right. This is the conversation that you're going to be like, oh my god, dude, where is this going?
Okay.
Because it's so deep.
All right.
Okay? You're going to be in the center of the earth, dude, just swimming around. Like, where the hell am I?
Let's see where this rabbit hole goes.
Okay, so check this out. All right, I'm having this dream, right? And I come across this guy, and he's just standing there. It's not really standing, it's kind of floating, because it's like just chilling in all whiteness. So we're hanging out, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And he says, your search is over. And I said, what do you mean my search is over? And he says, you found me. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He says, I am God. And I was like, that's fucking weird, because I wasn't looking for God. And he goes, no, you don't understand. You've known God all the time. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, you are God. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking weird. And then I woke up. Okay. Now, this got me thinking, like, really, really fucking hard, okay? So, I have this whole new belief system that I'm devising and working on, and it's coming together like it was supposed to, okay? Alright, and I'm gonna sound like a total fucking nutcase here for like 30 minutes. Not 30 minutes, I'm not gonna talk that long, like 15 minutes. I'm gonna sound like a total just nutcase.
So you're already there, dude, but go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm going to dig into this what-if jar.
Alright.
And pull you out a nugget of what-ifs. Okay, so, what if... Alright. What if everybody is God, alright? As in the fact that we have willed ourselves into existence. Okay. Like, okay, and the reason that I think this is because in your dreams, right? So what your dreams are is you have this chemical that is released in your brain. It's called dimethyltryptamine. Okay, that's DMT. It's released by your pineal gland.
Yep.
And that is what causes you to dream in your REM sleep, right? In your deep REM sleep, this chemical hormone activates, and it just floods your brain with this chemical.
Yep.
Right. So
that and dopamine and serotonin.
Right. So it's just when you go into this, it's like you're entering another world, right? So what I'm thinking is, okay, my mindset here is that is where we're supposed to be. Okay, that is our true world. All right. And we have decided to move to a different plane of existence. But when we made that conscious choice, we forgot it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, our trade-off for this different life is we lose our true selves, right?
So by choosing a connection to this reality, we lose a connection to our previous true reality. Exactly.
So, and as this has happened, we've just let's see, what am I trying to say? De-evolved from where we were down to a primal state, right?
Right.
When we entered this new reality. Now,
but
I'm talking about like first people, okay?
Right.
I'm not.
Well, what I'm saying is what I'm deriving from this theory is that what that could mean is by choosing a physical form over the pure energy form, we obviously de-evolve or devolve into physical beings, which limits our ability to transubstantiate to other dimensions.
Right, exactly. Alright, so like it's in another different thing besides the we are all God thing, there's this, okay? So there was a group, okay? Like I've never thought that there was just one God. I've never really believed in a God that's, so it's a group of people that made this decision just made this decision, okay? And transferred planes, right? So they've transferred planes of existence, and I got some money.
Okay, can we?
Okay, so
I forget where I was.
When I was a young man, I came up with a theory. And of course, this is going back to what we were talking about, Newton's laws. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only changed in form.
Right.
Our souls, since we are electrical beings, we have and use energy. Our souls, therefore,
I'm sorry.
My theory is that our souls are energy, pure energy.
Right.
And this could tie into your transubstantiation theory.
Everything's going to twist into this awesome vortex of awesomeness.
So my theory when I was a young man was that God was the main source of energy. To create us, God plucked bits of himself, bits of energy out, and put into these crude human forms.
Right.
Not only for us, for our own consciousness to learn, but also so he could learn. Because if you think about it, my theory at the time was God doesn't know what it's like to be human. God cannot be contained in a human form.
Right.
Which is the problem that I have with a lot of Christians saying that Jesus was God. Because God is transcendental. God cannot be contained in a human form.
Right.
So therefore God would have no idea what it's like to live a physical life. So the more souls that he creates and puts into human form, when when it's time to leave this human form, go back to being pure energy, we reconnect to the source, and that knowledge is assimilated into his knowledge, and therefore he lives vicariously through us.
Right, I got you. Okay. I remember where I was.
Okay.
I totally remember where I was, but they're coming back.
Alright, so hold that thought.
I got it. Okay, so I remember where I was.
Alright.
Okay, so there was this group, this group of energy beings, like everything is energy, everybody is one, everyone is one thing, so this group of beings with similar, wants and,
kind of like a united consciousness?
Yes, like a united consciousness, broke off from the main consciousness and decided to switch planes into this new form, and they created the first life, right? It's fine, everything's fine. They created the first life, right? The first molecules, the basis of everything, right? So we are basically just descendants of this energy that has been building forever.
So kind of like the Council of the Nine, if you will.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Lord of the Rings reference.
Gotcha. Okay. So the Borg. Okay, I gotcha. I got that one.
Okay, you get the Star Trek reference, but not the Lord of the Rings. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
So we have evolved through this different thing, and slowly and methodically we have evolved into a more conscious being, right? So we're able to understand more and more about the universe and the world that has been created for this collective group, right? Because they have moved on to their original plane.
Well, if you think about it,
because after everything dies, it reverts back to its original state. It goes back to its normal plane. So that and that's when someone. Okay, so all right, it has reverted back to its original state, right? So basically, what I'm saying is our gods that our gods are gone. They're dead. I mean, they're not dead, but they're gone from this plane, right? So
they went back to their plane of origin.
They went back to their plane of origin, right? So their original thing still exists, and that's where we are. We are in a new Big Bang was. It was them transferring into a new dimension, and it just created this huge explosion of everything happening all at once.
Being the physical world.
Exactly. It just created the physical world, and it just happened to, everything lives everywhere. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that actually ties into the Celtic beliefs of the seven.
Everything ties into this. That's why I've been thinking about it, and why it's been growing on me in such a way that it's connecting in all the right places. And then you've got beings that remember. Okay, like if you want to go with this, you got Jesus who remembers, who tapped into that knowledge that has been contained in these human forms in this physical world.
Something that we can't normally access.
Exactly.
Because of the limitations of the human brain.
Right, and he even said he is not God, is because there's not a God anymore. It's just beings. He taught a message of peace and love and how everyone should live in harmony.
Theoretically, there still would be a God because energy cannot be destroyed.
It's not a God, it's just a collective. It's just a big mass of energy.
Right, but that's what we in our primitive ideas would consider God.
Yeah, in our primitive ideas, but now in a new building sign.
It's a new Alexandria sign.
In a new stage of evolution. That is what I feel like is happening. It's a progressive. Everything is always progressing. It's always progressing. We've been evolving over the past, we've been
million years. Right.
We've just been keep evolving, and we're learning more and more about ourselves and about all the things that we're made of and how it works and all these different areas of the brain that haven't been activated because we haven't learned how to activate them.
Well, that would explain our fascination with physics.
Yeah.
The explanation of the physical world.
Right.
We crave knowledge. We want to know how everything works. We crave the knowledge that we will someday just inherently have.
Exactly. It's just...
well, and this also kind of ties into my dream theory that dreaming is an alternate reality. Another
alternate universe.
Yeah.
You see how everything just interlocks so perfectly with everything. And that's what's got me so fascinated about this idea.
Well, it also kind of ties in, again, going back to our primitive understanding.
Yeah.
Because of the limitations of our human brain, aside from being, apart from being free-form energy.
It ties into heaven and hell.
Right, well, it would tie in also into the, basically all religions are inherently the same.
Yeah.
You have the ancient Greeks and Romans who believed in a series of gods.
It even ties in with Buddhism. It does.
The beliefs, but not the structure.
No. The structure doesn't matter.
Well, Buddha was a 600-pound man.
It doesn't matter. It's not what I'm talking about. They're talking about enlightenment, nirvana.
Right.
They've tapped into this energy source that is the energy of everything.
Right. That's why I say belief, but not structure.
Yeah. Structure doesn't matter. That's a thing that it's not.
Well, it's a human construct.
Yeah.
It's what we create to be able to
understand what's happening, right? But we don't need to understand it. It's just a thing that just is there. It doesn't have to be understood. It just needs to be.
Well, it's not a requirement, but it is our endeavor.
Yeah. It's.
So we assimilate information. We create these structures to try and explain what we do not have the capacity to understand.
Right.
Just like with the Catholic religion, you have God, then you have the angels, then you have the saints, and this and that.
Right.
And it would really tie into or be, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it could be a primitive structure or explanation for what you were saying. If there is a collective, a council, if you will, of elders, energy, whatever, then that would explain the creation of the structure that they came up with.
Right.
Or the Greeks or whoever, with the multiple deities or
well,
saints
it's like
or whatever.
I told you this conversation was going to be deep.
You have a simple idea, like explaining to a child, why is the sky blue? You give them a simple explanation until they're old enough to understand the concept of why the sky is blue.
And see, this is where I'm an asshole, because I don't start with the simple explanation. I go straight for the scientific, and they don't understand a damn word I'm saying. But I have a trouble with dumbing things down.
It's not so much that you're dumbing it down. I mean, you don't say, oh, because it reflects the ocean or whatever.
Yeah, because that would be stupid.
You give them fact, but you don't go in depth into it.
Well, it doesn't reflect on the ocean.
Yeah, no. That's why one of the kids' teachers said that, and I'm like,
no. I've heard of several teachers saying that.
We just say that's the way the light refract.
The atmosphere.
You know, it's the way it looks. It appears to be.
The moisture, the moisture in the ozone layer.
Totally
Different tangent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But as children, you give them a simple explanation until they can understand it.
Right. So we
are
humans,
evolving to a point where we are beginning to understand the full potential of the brain.
Exactly. So what I've been doing is I've been like the way I came to this conclusion is, like I said, I've been meditating a lot lately, and it's just when I meditate, I can feel everything just centering.
Are you still reading that Confucius?
I'm not. I finished it.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Awesome.
Okay. So what I've been doing is I've been centering everything, and it just feels like everything is centered, and I have energy. I have tons and tons and tons of energy. Do you feel this energy? I'm radiating it right now. Like, I'm freaking out. I have so much of it. I got 3 hours of sleep last night, and I'm energetic as hell. You know, I'm not tired. I'm not anywhere close to doing it. I've had no caffeine today. It's a natural energy.
A natural high.
Yeah, and it feels like everything is just aligning perfectly with everything, and everything is connected with everything. Okay, so this is what I want to explain. It's the new. It's not new. Okay, so this generation, newest generation, it has been focused around a more loving and peaceful, and try to get everybody together. You know, everybody wants to help everybody. All these charities.
More tolerant.
More tolerant. Yeah, exactly. And everybody is learning that if we all are one, like we are, because everybody is just one big
ball of energy.
Yeah, it's one big ball of energy. The whole planet is an ecosystem, and it's just.
Well, the whole universe.
Yeah, everything everywhere is all
ecosystem of energy.
Connected. It's all connected into one. It's just.
Well, I mean, if you expand upon that, we share the same energy with every living creature in the universe.
Everything ever is one with everything. And if everybody could just stop for 10 minutes and not do anything. And even not doing anything is doing something. It's creating peace for 10 minutes. You've created complete peace for 10 minutes. Do you realize how good that would be for the world?
Oh, yeah. At least for 10 minutes.
At least for 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes will be the most peaceful time this earth has ever seen. It will be ridiculous.
I don't think there has ever actually been a point in human history that there has not been some type of war and or conflict occurring.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I don't understand how people can be so hateful. And, you see what I'm saying?
It's because they are not enlightened. Even during the period of enlightenment, they were not enlightened.
Okay, this takes me back to late 80s, Hands Across America.
Yeah, I participated in that. Yep.
Where, they try to get everybody for that time, for that moment, to be as one.
And for about 5 minutes, there were hands joined all the way across America. An unbroken chain of individuals that stretched completely across the United States. From New York to California. It was interesting.
It's just intense the way people are so caught up with material things that they can't learn to just let go. Just let go. It's not that important. It's not important. It's only important because you make it important. And if people could just understand that, the whole world
because of the limitations of the human brain, and some brains are more limited than others, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You are not going to find people with, enhanced levels of consciousness. I mean, maybe a few, but out of the mass, 4 billion people?
7.
Almost 8 billion now.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap, we're overpopulated.
Yeah.
But out of those billions of people, you're going to find maybe a million people planet-wide.
You realize there is more than enough resources in this world to go around.
Oh,
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
If everybody just stop being so goddamn greedy and just spread all their resources.
90% of the resources belong to 1% of the people.
It's unbelievable. Just the overwhelming greed and unwillingness to cooperate in people.
Also, it comes down to is greed. Everybody wants more.
Understand it.
They want it all and they want it now.
That's where my brain stops. Is I can't understand how people can be that greedy and that non-understanding. I mean, I get that's where my limitations are.
This is why we're not rich, because we're not greedy. Greedy people get rich.
I don't even want to be rich. I don't want to be rich.
I just don't want to have to
want
work.
money. I don't want money to exist. That's how I am. I don't want money to exist. I don't want anybody to be rich. I don't want anybody to be anything. It's just everybody be one with everybody. Everybody be happy with everybody, and it'll.
If everybody's happy with everybody, money will cease to exist because then you're not competing with other people.
Exactly. There's no competition. There's nothing. It's just all.
We can go back to the barter system.
You don't even need the barter system. It's just here. You can have this.
But there will always be greed. There's always going to be those people that you have that. I want that.
Greed and jealousy are the original evils.
That'll be the downfall.
You can carry that.
Already was.
Yeah. That is the downfall. The downfall's happened. I just.
1,000 years ago, we slipped into this seventh circle of hell.
Yeah.
As Dante put it.
No, Dante didn't.
Dante Alighieri, when he wrote the Divine Comedy.
He didn't write the Divine Comedy.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
in 1500s.
Terribly misinformed.
But Dante's Inferno. Mm-hmm. That's book 3.
Did you ever play that video game?
No.
It's a lot of fun, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, it was awesome.
No, I did read the book though.
Yeah.
Translated. It's a bitch to find it translated from the Italian.
Oh yeah.
But he actually created the Italian language when he wrote it.
Yeah, it's just.
Will you take her to the bathroom? It's up on the other side of that building.
It's just we've totally deviated
I have
from
your
the.
pole.
Oh, okay, awesome. We've totally deviated from the original thing. It's just.
Yeah.
I just wanted to explain to you my newfound religious experience that I had.
There was a.
We can make multiple trips. We don't have to carry everything at once.
I'm not carrying anything. Let me have something. Yeah, it's just. It happened in a dream, and it was weird.
Well, there was a theological theorist that I was reading.
The theological theorist?
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Or theologist, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But he was a theoretical theologist.
Oh, that's cool.
Obviously, nothing he came up with had been proven.
Right.
Proven. Not proven. Anyway,
Never seen the water down before.
Kind of in a drought.
Yep. Where was it? His theory, or one of his theories, was that God being the being of energy, would be perfect by our considered perfect by our standards because of not being hindered or limited by a physical form as we are.
Right.
Also that's why being transcendent because of this enormous power could never be contained, would just melt a human form.
Right.
So his theory was that we were put here, placed here, or in some way deposited in this physical plane, as I was talking about before, so that the source, God, if you will, could experiment and learn what it's like to be a physical form.
Right.
You know, this new thing. But we are granted free will.
Right.
Or we just have free will. Either way, it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to rejoin with the source.
Right.
Once we transform back into freeform energy.
Right.
Now, if we choose to, then that's awesome, because awesome for us and awesome for the source.
That's where I think reincarnation comes from. Is if you choose to stay as in this physical realm, that is what reincarnation is. You've been reborn into the physical realm. Yeah,
your energy just transfers into another physical being of whatever. Because every physical being that has life contains energy. So, anyway, since we have free will, it's up to us to decide whether or not we want to rejoin with the source,
right,
or i.e. God. If we choose to, then there are certain things that we have to bring with us. You know, it's not like you're just welcome. You know, anybody and everybody is just welcome to come on back.
That's not what I think.
Well,
that's not my thing.
Well, here's the reason why.
Okay.
Because there are certain levels of knowledge, certain states of consciousness that you have to achieve to make it worthy, you know, or worthwhile to the source to bring you back into the fold, so to speak. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
No researcher really. I mean, you want to be able to replicate your results, but you don't want to only replicate your results.
Right.
You want some different results. You want to see if you're experimenting on something as massive as a physical plane.
Right.
You want many different perspectives. So, and you don't want to bring in a lot of bad information or bad mojo, if you will.
Right.
So there are certain rules, certain things that you must attain before you're even going to be welcome to rejoin with the source.
Right.
So that's where I think that the rules of religion come from.
See, and I don't.
Can we carry this down here?
Yeah. I'm just blah blah blah. See, and my whole thing about that is,
and that was his theory anyway.
Right. My whole theory is everybody is the source. That's where everybody.
Like everybody's part of the source, or everybody is the source.
Everybody is the source. Everyone is the source. You're the source. I'm the source. She's the source. Everyone is the source. Therefore, you are always welcome back into the source because you have chosen to leave the source, come back to the source. You can do whatever you want because you are the source. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you are the energy that makes up the source. Therefore, you are the source.
So then, the rules of religion just simply become just pure physical construct created by man.
Exactly. To make people try to get people to act good.
Yeah.
Try to.
Or act in whatever way. Social conform. Social control.
Okay, so the church wants you to act a certain way. They want you to do certain things. They want you to be them. They want you to conform to their rules. And they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. So they just bullshit it. Put it bluntly, they bullshit it, and they don't know what they're talking about.
No,
they have no idea.
Well, some believe they do. Some of these people actually genuinely believe they know. I don't think they do.
I don't either. It's all weird.
Like when you start talking about theology, I mean, or even theoretical physics, the Big Bang Theory, whatever, evolution, all of it. It's all guess.
Yeah.
Nobody knows for sure.
Even my theory is a complete guess. It's just it's like somebody came down and was like, listen, this is the way it is. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's my mind.
You're not saying it's the gospel, so to speak.
No. I'm not saying that, an angel
no pun
has come
intended.
down. Yeah, it's just it's a thought. It's a free thought.
And that's what, in my opinion anyway, that's what religion should be.
It's a free thought. It's a thought that comes purely from you. It's nobody else influencing your thoughts. It's nobody else, trying to say, hey, you should think this way. You should think this way. Hey, think this way. It's free thought. Think the way you want to think. If you share our beliefs, good. That's good for you.
And that's exactly what the basically, if you share our beliefs, come sit at our table.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
And
I think
talk
that
about
might actually be what it started as. It was if you share our beliefs, come with us. You can hang out, chill.
It's over here.
And that's kind of what this.
Share our beliefs.
That's kind of the point that this, and I wish I could remember his name because it's a really good article. But that's kind of the point that he was getting to with the source. You know,
right?
It's not like you're unwelcome to rejoin with the source, but it's like if you're willing to live this way and do and accomplish these things, then you're welcome. Please come.
Talk to me.
Come join us.
Right. It's a.
I wish people didn't litter.
Right. It's. I don't know.
It's annoying.
Yeah. Well,
they took out the trash can, so.
Yeah.
Oh well, moved them.
All the way over there. Yeah, but it's just free thinking. I think is the greatest religion. It's because it's not really a religion. It's a religion, but it's not. It's
the absence of religion.
Exactly. It is. I think that is the purest religion. Is the absence of religion.
Well, if you think about it, you know, in every religion they talk about, especially Christianity, they talk about following the false prophet.
Yeah.
Well, what if organized religion is the false prophet?
And that is my theory. Is that it is the false prophet. The false prophet is. You know, beware the bearers of false truth. It's. Oh my God.
But I mean,
I wish I could explain.
Going back to an even more primitive understanding of beliefs.
Right.
Even with this new enlightened theory, we could understand that these people are just basically going by all they know.
Right.
What they believe. But the problem comes in when they start pushing those beliefs on other people and killing them for not believing as they believe.
Exactly.
That becomes a huge problem, obviously.
These people don't think the way I do.
Oh, Jesus.
Wham. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, they're lively too.
Right. It's like the world's biggest freaking worms. They're like garter snakes.
It's just... I just wish everybody could see... Okay, this is going to sound really selfish. I wish people could understand the world as I do for 1 second.
Dude, believe me, I
and
understand.
And that just sounds like... It sounds like religious.
Narcissistic?
It sounds so... I can... Just contradicts everything I just said. But it's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, hey, believe me, I'm right.
Yeah, you're just saying you wish people could see the world for what it is instead of what they've been convinced to believe it is.
Exactly. Huh?
Oh, I already forget what I was going to say.
Sorry.
No, it's alright.
I just don't understand people. And that's my biggest problem. And I'll be the first to admit it. I got that. Shit all in my hand, too. I just wish people would sit down and just relax. Please.
Yeah.
Please, just sit down and relax.
Oh, you're not the only one who believes that.
Sit down and relax. Sounds like a total hippie statement, but it's not. I mean, maybe the hippies had it right. Sit down, relax, just do...
I always thought the hippies, for the most part, really had things right.
Well, except for the fact that they just wanted to sit on the couch and stay high all the time.
And
you're not going to achieve consciousness that way. They thought you could, but what they were achieving was stupidity.
See, that's not even true. That's the I'm gonna tell you right now, that is the what am I trying to say here?
Timothy Leary was convinced that he was expanding his mind.
Yeah.
That he was opening his mind. All he was doing was lowering his IQ.
That is not even true. You know that, right? It's if you have a low IQ, you're gonna have a low IQ. That's what it is. You're just a low IQ person who's been having to smoke weed.
No, you can.
That's what it is.
You can reduce your IQ.
Can being the major thing.
Well,
I mean, it's really. I'm
nine
trying
times.
to think of the word you were trying to think of. Like it's
You got it.
Okay.
I know what you're trying to say, and I completely believe you.
10 times out of 10, and trust me, I know because I have experimented.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10, you put a person on any kind of intoxicant, something that alters their state of consciousness, any kind of narcotic, and their ability to truly understand the world will diminish.
Have you ever heard of ayahuasca?
No.
Ayahuasca is it's a drink, okay? It's okay, so the people of Peru, the Peruvian people, if you will,
Right.
have this ritual, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it is a cleansing of the mind and the body and the soul, and it's just a very pure, very, very ritualistic process, okay? What it does is, it is the strongest trip that you can have. It is the strongest spiritual experience that you'll experience. It is
Similar to the Native American rituals with peyote?
Yeah, it's stronger.
Okay.
It's stronger,
but still similar and
yes,
basically done for the same purpose.
Exactly. It's to connect in a higher level and to experience these different dimensions, right? So,
but that doesn't mean that they're going to gain any expanded understanding of it.
It does not. It does not mean that. But you never know. So
I guess my point is
when you partake in the rituals and you have your ayahuasca,
right?
It activates parts of the brain that. Okay, so here's what it is. It's made with it's made with plants. It's just plants.
Mm-hmm.
Plants that grow in the wild, right?
Right.
So it's it contains plants that have dimethyltryptamine in it. High levels of dimethyltryptamine. And that's where the belief that the dimethyltryptamine can actually transport you to a different realm.
Right, but do you want to
into your dream state?
Do you want to simply have what you believe and cannot prove, or do you want to have actual knowledge that you can prove, you can quantify?
Why do you feel the need to have to quantify?
So I can more greatly understand it.
See why?
And know that it's true.
I don't have to understand it. I don't need to understand. I don't have that urge.
I have an extreme desire to be able to understand and explain. See, because if I can't understand it and explain it, how do I truly know it exists? You know, I can't just feel it.
That sounds so just ridiculous.
Well, it's
faith. It's faith, is what it is, and it's just a different level of faith than the.
Josh.
What?
Naive.
There you go. It's a naive.
Just like
that's the naive. We were talking about marijuana. It's
it's kind of
lazy
a
people.
Theory that the hippies are all that specific.
Yeah,
way. It's just like saying every single hippie was vegan and threw blood on people that were fur. That not everyone did that.
No, and I'm not saying that everyone did that. I'm just saying that
it's the fact that you think that
it has been scientifically proven that people who use narcotics have lower intelligence.
Yes.
Pot is a narcotic.
No, it is not.
THC?
It's not. It's not.
Tetrahydrochloride is a narcotic. It's an opiate.
No.
Oh, yes.
Calm down, sir.
No, it is.
It is a... Okay, so...
Chuck, it's not too cloudy to get a tan today, is it?
No. You don't need sunlight to get a tan. You just need ultraviolet rays.
Overly cloudy.
Yeah. You don't need direct sunlight,
they'll pass through the...
I guess that was a dumb question. I can still see the sun, so it's not too cloudy.
No, it's not even that. It's just... Alright,
Anyway, so...
If you're a lazy person, you're gonna be fucking lazy. Is what I'm trying to get at. You're gonna be fucking lazy.
One of the side effects...
It depends on your habits that you have now, whether or not you're gonna be lazy. So you can be a lazy son of a bitch who just happens to smoke pot. That happens. Okay.
But
it does, just because you're smoking marijuana doesn't.
You can be an energetic person and still become lazy by smoking marijuana. And here's the reason why. One of the major side effects of tetrahydrochloride, which that's THC, and it's the main ingredient in cannabis sativa. One of the major, the biggest side effects of that is anti-motivational syndrome. you lose the ability to become motivated to do things. You lose the ambition. Without ambition, you're just sitting on the couch thinking about shit.
Exactly. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. Sit
But you'll
think.
You'll die.
It's not.
You're not going to gain anything by that.
Yeah, you will. You can. You can gain things by just sitting and thinking.
Sometimes, yeah, but you still got to get out and do shit too.
Not.
You have
not
to
what
experience life.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just sit and think.
And I'm not saying that you should never sit and think, but it should not dominate your life.
No, it shouldn't.
And that's the problem with anti-motivational syndrome, because then it does. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to achieve a higher consciousness, it is better to do it naturally.
I never had that. I never had anti-motivational syndrome. I'll tell you that. I never did. It was always, what if this is the way it is? What if this is... I've had so many just deep thoughts.
Well, in addition, along with anti-motivational syndrome, the reason why it's a syndrome is because it's a collection of symptoms. It's a collection of disorders, depression, ADHD, which, strangely enough,
helped my ADHD.
Yeah, it can. THC actually can help ADHD, but in individuals who don't have it, it can cause it.
I think that's what evened me out. I think when I was smoking, it evened me out so I could think clearly for once. It was a clear.
But how much of it was
thought.
Actual thinking clearly, or just believing you were thinking clearly?
It's just thinking clearly. It was. I never had a thought that I thought was after I sobered up that was a dumbass thought. I've always thought afterwards that was a deep fucking thought.
Well, see, again, like I said, I experimented. I experimented with marijuana, and it wasn't like most people say, oh, I was just, experimenting. No, I was actually conducting research. I would record myself. I would speak into a microphone.
I did the exact same thing.
And record it, and then I would listen to it years later, and it was just ridiculous. At the time, I thought it was amazingly just this phenomenal, string of theories, and no, it was just ridiculous tripe. It was just the incoherent babbling of a pothead, basically. And then, I also thought it made me, like a better musician. So I would get high and I would play guitar, and I thought at the time that it sounded amazing.
It helped me feel sounds. When I played, it helped me feel sounds. I've written so many songs that sound amazing.
And oh wow, she caught a fish. All right. So, and I get where it can gain you an emotional connection.
Yeah. And that's.
But and it will work with the right side of the right hemisphere of your brain.
That's what it's supposed to do. Like that's the goal.
But if you don't exercise the left hemisphere of your brain, you lose your logical connection to the world.
Can I have some help?
Why do you need a logical connection to the world? See, my thing about that is I don't need logic.
You don't require a logical connection?
No. I require a emotional connection. I require I don't even need understanding. I need emotional connection. I need a thing that makes, if it feels right, it feels right. It's a.
Well, see, when we're talking about like
it's energy.
And I get that, but for me personally, I require a logical connection. I have to explain it. You know what I mean?
And that's why I don't think
I have to understand it.
You can understand truly understand what I'm saying at any point in time. Because you always need to find a logical explanation for everything. It's just a.
I mean, I see where you're coming from.
You see where I'm coming from, but
yeah.
you don't understand.
I'll never understand what it's like to feel that way, because I'll probably never feel that way. Oh, sorry.
That's fine. It's just
Well, it's like having an emotional connection to the world and, feeling bad for millions of people dying. I don't have that. I have the logical understanding that if millions of people don't die, the entire race will die. The entire human race will die.
That's not the way I look at it. I look at it as, okay, this is how I look at it. I see people die. I see...
wars and famine and poverty.
That's what I see. I see just evil. That is my definition of evil. It is war. It's greed. It's evil.
And I don't agree with greed at all. I think greed is the one true evil in the world. But I see the necessity for wars and disease.
You see the necessity?
I see the necessity because otherwise we'd overpopulate, outrun our food sources, and then we all die. We gotta thin the herd some way, somehow.
It's supposed to happen.
Huh?
Did you ever think of that? Look.
Maybe we're supposed to.
She caught a fish.
She caught a fish! Yay!
I think that's one I just caught.
Okay, check this out, okay?
So we're supposed to overpopulate
Think of it like this, okay? Check this out for a second. Okay, so think of the world as a host, right?
Mm-hmm.
A host for life. You think of it as a sandwich.
as a sandwich?
Yeah. Just
Okay.
for a second. Okay.
All right.
Think of the world as a sandwich. Okay. Now think of mold. All right.
Right.
No matter what you do, that sandwich is going to build mold.
Right.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So you've got this moldy sandwich, and that represents the cities that we build. It's a slow takeover of all the resources that used to make everything.
So the mold would represent the human race.
Exactly.
We're supposed to consume the sandwich and then die when the sandwich is gone.
We're supposed to consume the sandwich so that it becomes something else.
But here's the problem: once the mold colony consumes the whole sandwich, the mold colony dies.
But it gives life to new things.
It doesn't give life to anything.
I can't explain this to you. Look. Everything will give life to something else. Everything.
Right, because matter is never created or destroyed. It's only changed in form.
What are you doing over there, buddy? I am.
Whoa. I'm Josh's kid fight.
What are you doing over there?
I think I'm using too big a hook.
You might be.
I'm not getting anything.
Yes. Yes, there is.
What?
Chest of ability behind you. It's just the mold will die. It will give life to something new.
Right, but
it's not like a fucking real sandwich, dude.
No. I know it's a metaphorical sandwich, but if the mold is metaphorically is to represent us, do we want to just be a flash in the pan, so to speak, or do we want to have the longevity to survive the ages?
See, and that's where human nature comes in. That's where the physical need to survive comes in.
Yeah. It's inherent. It's given to us.
Why do you...
We are created... It's a natural instinct.
You can't see the beauty of just giving you to create something else.
No. That I cannot. I cannot understand. I am not willing to die to create something else that I won't get to enjoy because I'll be gone from this plane.
I'm fine with that.
If I want to create something, I want to enjoy it. I want to see my creation grow and flourish.
That's because you're greedy.
No, that's not greed.
That is greed.
That's not greed.
That is textbook greed. Is that not greed?
It's selfishness, but it's not greed.
It's greed. Selfishness and greed, same thing.
No.
Yes.
Difference.
No, look.
No.
Look.
No, wait. Hear me out.
Okay.
Selfishness and greed are inherently different because selfishness is the thought of one's own pleasure. Greed is the need for everything. That is greed.
For an abundance of something.
They need to have... Someone who is greedy needs to own everything.
That's exactly what
No, I said...
I want to see enjoy. You can't see the purpose of...
That's selfishness, not greed.
Giving yourself because you cannot enjoy it.
Because I'm not selfless. I am not a selfless person. What you're talking about is to be absolutely selfless. Think of the other, whatever comes after you, whatever feeds upon you, if you will, or whatever is created by your demise. You're thinking solely of that. And that's selflessness, and that's awesome. That's a nifty trait. Whereas I have more of a selfish nature in that I want to see my creation, what is created by my life, I want to see it flourish on its own, for its own purpose, for its own good. Not for my good, because that would be greedy. So it's not for my good. I want to see it flourish for its good, and I will derive my enjoyment, my pleasure, if you will, from seeing it. Not benefiting or profiting from it,
I got you.
but just witnessing it.
So it's just I got you.
It's like having kids.
It's just selfish.
Right.
It's just selfish. I got you.
Like people reproduce, people have children because of their own selfish desire to see their creation flourish. That's why we're all happy most people. I mean, I guess there are those few greedy people who are not happy by their children's accomplishments. They just want to have children so they can have something to control.
Yeah.
But for most of us, it is the selfish desire to see our children flourish for their own gains, for their own benefits, but just for our enjoyment. You know what I mean?
I got you. I get what you're saying now. It took me a second, but I got it. It usually takes me a second to understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're always so, 8 steps ahead of me in your logistical scale that I just don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's because of my inherent desire for logic. Right.
I guess. I mean, I don't consider myself a selfless person, but it's a...
Well, you're expressing a very selfless desire.
But it's not... I don't want to call myself selfless. It just seems arrogant.
Well, for you to call yourself selfless would be narcissistic and arrogant. For me to call you selfless is not.
But for me to
acknowledge it?
To acknowledge it.
Right. And I get that.
Arrogant.
And I get that. You're not selfless for the sake of people knowing you're selfless. You're genuinely selfless and modest about being selfless.
It's just...
Well, it's like...
I do it for the good of the sandwich.
Yeah, right. Whereas me, if I'm going to be the mold...
For the mold.
Yeah.
You do it for the mold, I do it for the sandwich. Everybody does it for their own reasons.
Yeah.
I guess.
And you also do it for the gnats.
I do it for the gnats. I do it for the larva. I do it for all creation that comes from the sandwich.
Right. And I just want to be the guy who cuts away the mold and eats the fucking sandwich. Until it's time for my next fucking sandwich. But yeah, I mean...
That was a greedy statement.
That was a little greedy, I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have greedy tendencies, because I do.
All humans do. I mean, it's part of human nature. I'm not going to hook you in the face, I promise. I may flip nasty slime water on you, but I'm not going to hook you in the face.
God damn it.
I can't avoid it.
I'm not worried about it, dude. I'm going to take a shower when I get home anyway.
Yeah, I guarantee I will, because this water's nasty. But, by whatever name or concept or theory one calls God, it's still all explaining pretty much the same basic thing.
Yeah.
Energy. A conscious energy. Although most atheists believe that there is no consciousness to the energy. It's just purely scientific energy.
Which I never understood. I mean, I understand where they come from. It's a... Consciousness is just a construct of evolution. I understand where they're coming from with it. I really do.
But theoretically, anytime you amass enough knowledge,
consciousness will evolve.
Right. Consciousness will become a physical fact. And they see that in learning computers. Mm-hmm. Now, they have not yet created one that can have a concept of self, but they have created computers that can learn, adapt, and evolve to the point to where it seems like they have adapted consciousness. So we're really just one short step away from creating
Skynet.
Well, I hope not, but yeah.
I don't know. It's just.
I hope it doesn't go to that point.
This is the fucking coolest podcast we've ever done.
Oh, I love it.
I'll tell you right now, this is my favorite one so far. It's just, this whole podcast is so, in my opinion, so deep and has so much free thinking that it's just, it's awesome. It's awesome. Is doing a podcast narcissistic?
Theoretically, you are. Well, it's also actually a little bit selfless, and also a little bit selfish. It's kind of a culmination of all of these theories, really, because we are recording our own voice to share with people. The narcissistic part comes in where we assume people want to hear it,
Right.
and then
I don't assume
the
people want to
selfish.
hear it. I just.
The selfish part is we enjoy putting our thoughts out there. We enjoy people hearing and understanding and enjoying our thoughts.
Yeah,
So that's selfish.
I don't see it like that.
But the selflessness comes in, and we are actually, in some cases, sharing genuine knowledge with the world for free. We're not asking anybody to buy shit or, do this or that.
Sharing knowledge is my whole thing. It's sharing.
I'm starting to think I cast in the wrong area.
She's awesome. I'm way too deep. Hey, do you want one of these? Mine is. I find it easier to think when I can assess what I've said. You see what I'm saying?
So when you go back and listen to
Mine
it,
is because I'm purely free thinking right now. It's all just, there's no filter. It's all let it come, let it go.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to remember what I said.
Yeah.
So sometimes I go back and.
Whereas me, I generally remember things that I say because I assess it, I evaluate it, I quantify it before I say it.
Right.
Therefore, I have a full understanding, even though I can't speak properly most of the time. I have a full understanding of what I'm saying before I say it, so therefore it's easier for me to remember it because it's already been quantified, it's already been stored, it's already been, this, that.
Doesn't make it free thinking then. You're putting logic into everything, therefore it's no longer free thinking.
Well, it's free in the sense that
it's not free in any sense.
Listen, hear me out. It's free in the sense that I have created it of my own free will. Granted, a lot of the information that I voice is information that I learned from others. But my own theories are they're theories of my own. They're products of my freedom of will, my freedom of thought.
Sorry. I don't know if you got any of that, but I got some of it. Yeah, I got that.
So, in a sense, it is free thinking, it's just not free form thinking.
Whereas wide is free form thinking.
Right.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Because you don't require the same structure, logical ladder structure that I require.
And that's where everyone's different.
Yeah.
Which makes everything just 10 times more beautiful.
In some cases, it makes it a little more complex.
No, it's just everything is beautiful. Everything.
The fun part is learning to understand that.
Why do you need to understand it? Just
well, because that's the fun part for me.
Realizing that everything is beautiful in its own way.
Right.
This is beautiful. It may not look beautiful, but it is beautiful. This green algae. It's living. It's a living thing.
It is a living thing.
It's breathing. It's thinking.
Quite possibly, yes.
That is beautiful. It has its own ideas.
It has its own life. It's leading its own little existence.
Exactly. It's
Just like the flies, they're eating it
Exactly.
and pooping on it. They're leading their own little existence. A fruit fly, lives a life, and this comes back to Einstein's theory of time and relativity. A fruit fly lives for 24 hours in our existence. In their existence, it's 100 years. So
that's why if you stand next to the pyramids, time seems to go slower.
yeah, because time is relative to mass.
Exactly. Speaking of ancient Egypt, I want to get this off here for a second. Did you know that there's water erosion on the Sphinx?
Mm-hmm.
Yet it hasn't rained in Egypt in like 7,000 years.
Well, just because you don't have as much rainfall, which it has rained.
But yeah, no.
Not like rained like what we have, but there is some minute
This is the
precipitation.
Thing. This is the thing. Okay, so there's a fish right there. That's some fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, the Sphinx is said to have been built with the pharaoh. What's his name?
Tutankhamun?
No, it wasn't Tutankhamun. It was
Actually, it'd be Tutankhamun if you pronounce it in Egyptian.
Yeah, but it's not him. It's someone else. I can't remember. But it's actually, if you think back, it's got to be much older than that because it's got all this. It's got so much water erosion on it that it's actually been. It's been there longer, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a theory out that okay, so all right, so listen to this. I heard this theory the other day, and it's really stuck with me. I want to introduce you to it. So it's a theory of evolution and de-evolution, okay?
Right.
And what it is it's a basically dumb people out fucking smart people, okay?
Okay. Well, I mean, if you have less to think about and less to do, you have more time to fuck. so, I mean, you're going to cut it down to brass tacks, then there it is.
All right, so what you got is you've got these people, okay? So they have evolved to a heightened state, okay? Because the Great Pyramid of Giza is just one pyramid. It's made out of the Great Two. Big one, the big pyramid that's facing true northeast, south, and west.
Right.
Okay. This thing is made up of 2,300,000 stones that weigh between 2 and 80 tons.
Right.
Right. So, and the stones in the King's Chamber were cut from a quarry that was 500 miles away.
Right.
Okay. So, there's no way. Okay, if they cut 10 blocks a day and set them up, it would take them 600 years to build.
Who says it didn't?
It's according to the records of the Egyptian people. No, thank you. According to the records of the Egyptian people, you're floating right through the current. That's awesome. Which is also another very beautiful part of nature, the current.
Yeah, this is actually a river, not a lake.
Oh,
This is just a very slow-moving
yeah,
river.
it's just very, very beautiful the way it moves. Anyway, sorry, I got.
Yeah, gotcha.
What was I talking about?
The
Evolution,
Pyramid of
evolution.
Giza.
Okay, so the records say that it took like I can't remember how many years. It was a very short amount. It was like 23, some shit like that. I don't remember exactly. It was fucking ridiculously short. So what they think? Okay, so what this theory was that there was this heightened, extremely evolved group of people. Okay, and the dumb people, the people who didn't have that level of knowledge,
right?
Just outbred the smart people,
Right.
Right. So they've been reduced to just these people that don't know what's going on. Okay, they don't know what's going on. They don't know how things work that way, and they've de-evolved, right? So they've started to de-evolve into the original state, and they've just kept de-evolving, and then they just had to move back into whatever was around, right?
So evolution advanced to a certain point and then started creeping backwards.
Right. Exactly. So, they've found this. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, so say they've moved away from Egypt. Okay, they've moved away. They've moved back into the wilderness, and they can survive that way, right?
Right.
So they finally survive, and they start evolving again, right? They slowly start evolving, and I think that's where we are now, and that's what the theory is. That's where they are now. Is they have evolved into what we are now, right? And the pyramids are just something that was left behind from the previous evolutionary chain.
Mm-hmm.
And they just took credit for it. You're like, we built that. Totally. Yeah, dude. Who built this? We did.
Well, okay. In the pyramids, not necessarily just Giza, but in other pyramids that hadn't been completely looted out through wars and whatnot, they found things like batteries,
Right.
wiring,
Copper,
electric lights.
Yeah.
All these things that they found that shouldn't theoretically have been able to exist.
Hello. That's awesome.
Then
I'm
did exist then.
Right.
And so that would actually lay a little bit of strength to your theory that at one time, well, their theory that at one time.
Hell. Oh, I'm fucking caught on every goddamn thing. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Cursed.
At one time, we did have, or they did have, more intelligence, and then the more intelligent people died off, and then slipped into the Dark Ages, and then you stopped having, periods of invention or enterprise or whatever, and then slowly we got back into it. But pretty much everything in science started with the advent of mathematics.
Right.
So,
Because everything follows a certain geometrical pattern.
but as far as the building of Stonehenge and the building of the pyramids and the great stone heads on the Canary Islands, or not
Easter
Canary,
Island.
Easter Island. We don't know what the state of the world was. I mean, they had the potential to have millions upon millions of slaves working tirelessly day and night for, say, 23 years, which their calendars would be completely different from ours.
But the precision that was gone into these things, man,
Well, you would have had, an architect.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's not even just the architect. It's the tools that they would have had to use they were so precise. Have you ever seen, like, Machu Picchu? You ever seen pictures of Machu Picchu? The stones have been so perfectly melded together that it would have had to have been tremendous heat to have gotten them to fit so perfectly.
Or pressure and time.
It's not even a question of pressure and time. They're just perfectly fitted.
Well, how about
and the holes cut in. They have machining tools that perfect cylinder. How do you get?
Well, there is no perfect cylinder, but
You know what I'm saying though? I don't want to get into all that. I don't.
Well, theoretically, all of that is technically possible with hand tools, if you have enough time, patience, and intelligence to do it. It can be done. And if you have, skilled artisans who have been, honing their skills over the course of their entire life, that's the only thing they've ever done, then theoretically it should be possible. Or could be possible.
Hey, do you have that towel rag there?
Yeah.
Throw it back
Here you go.
I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this topic. I don't.
Well, this one's at an hour and 10 minutes, so we'll go ahead and
wrap it up.
wrap this one up, and then we'll start another discussion. as we sit here fishing at the lovely river lake. It's covered in slime and pollution. Yeah. All right.
It is beautiful, though.
It is. Yeah. It really is. It really is.
Nature works. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Nature is a beautiful thing. All right. We out.